Hey everybody, Doug here from 2 Plus Tough, and welcome to While You're Reforging. So, if you have not been around the channel for very long, for the longest time I did a weekly or semi-weekly live stream just covering like news at large, developments in Age of Sigmar stuff, and really just any Games Workshop content, though I think I want to expand and talk about Conquest and a few other things, but of course go through Warhammer community as well. But just having a cool chat and conversation with people live in more of a kind of a relaxed format. And so what I'll do is we'll talk about painting progress on what I have on the painting table here, what I've been working on recently, because I got some cool stuff for you. And then we're going to go over to the shared screen and go through the news and that kind of thing. And after that, I try to have like a main topic. And I'll be honest, I don't really have like a grandiose one for us today, but I have a few thoughts that might be kind of interesting for a discourse. So the show is going to be roughly an hour and a half long, and I sat down with my wife this morning. We put our schedules together now that she is a full-time author, so we're both kind of like freelance work right now, so or we set our own schedules is what I mean. But we got some discipline in our lives, and so we got the schedule made. And so I can say that this time, as of the live show right now, which is 3 o'clock Central Time in the US, I have blocked out for the next infinite Sundays, unless it's a holiday, for While You're Reforging. So this will be a live, regular thing, and I'm going to start posting it and other things like that. So, weird the stream did not start without a refresh. Interesting. Okay, sorry about that. Can everyone see and hear me okay? I just want to make sure it looks like there's no problems here. But anyway, so yes, this is going to be the new regular time. So anyway, that's all. Welcome, and I hope you enjoy the show. So, we always start off with hobby progress. What I'm going to do is ask you this. If you're joining me, tell me what you're working on. I'm going to be checking into the chat periodically between segments to see what everybody's up to. Tell me what you're working on. And we'll go to the downward cam, and I will show you what I have been working on. So, just a quick heads up. I am actually going to get a really nice... I actually already have a nice 4K cam, but I'm just waiting on a mount for... if you've seen the most recent lore video I did, it has like a view of me painting a model. I'm actually going to get that installed. I had a temporary mount for that video, but it wasn't gonna work, so I had to order a new one. But yeah, so that should be here soon. So hopefully, real soon, it'll get a lot better. Okay, so what I've been working on, I've got this guy here. Let me move this so it's just the dark side, and give me just a moment here, and I will pull up my screen so I can see what the brightness level is looking like. There we go. It's doing an okay job on focusing. So that is my Lord Arcanum on Griffin Charger. There we go. And yeah, I'm trying to put together a whole bunch of Sacrosanct stuff right now, because two of the people I game the most with, Rob and my buddy Jeremy, they both play Soulblight Gravelords, and actually this last weekend I played a great game against a guy named Casey, which I'll talk about here in a little bit. But he had a Night Haunt, so he's excited about the new book announcement, that kind of stuff. So I was like, I'm just inundated with Death players. So you know what? We're gonna lean in, narrative, get heavy with it. So we're painting up a whole bunch of Sequitors and all the stuff from Soul Horse. Because if one thing is consistent about me and my personality, I am always 4 years behind trends, and here we are, just discovering the Soul Horse. Okay. So anyway, yes, I got him mostly painted up. I'm going to actually just throw a quick wash down on the base here. In addition to that, I got one set of the Ballista crew done. Actually, I think I grabbed two of the leader ones by accident. That's whatever. I'm going to paint one more, so that'll be perfect. And I have a third. Does anyone take 3 ballistas, and how does it do? So I mean, if you're going to take 3 ballistas, of course you would take at least 2 units of Vigilors to give them the +1. Oh man, we got this. So Yeah, that's all. And I kept it real simple for this. I primed it silver, like with lead belcher, and then just picked out the gold bits because I don't foresee myself using a ton of them. Beyond that, I wanted to show off a model that is very precious to me. And I actually have two of them. Let me go to my closet real quick and grab the other one. Okay, so the first one comes courtesy... of course I drop it on camera. What a dingus. So anyway, first one comes courtesy of, I believe he is ranked number 19 in total of the... What is it? What is the competitive... Oh my gosh, he's probably screaming at the screen. What is it? The STC? Is that what it is? What is the competitive side of things? I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, it's not STC. It's the standard template construct from 40K. Oh, my brain is short-circuiting. Anyway, Jack did really good in the competitive scene. He's a super ranked ITC. That's what it is. Number 19 ITC. Number 1 in my heart. He painted me this up every year. Me and the Rerolling One guys do like a model swap for Christmas, and it's always kind of after the holidays because like Jack works for EPS, and there's just it gets super busy for a lot of us, right, between kids and all that kind of stuff. So it's always like first quarter basically, and yeah, he painted this Wargog Prophet for me because I got my Bone Splitters back from him, and so that's an army I am going to be trying real hard at, gloves off. I want to know how to do the best with them. And I want to prove that the worst army in the game can be incredibly fun. That's all. There was some polling data went up recently, and it had the Bone Splitters as being like they have the highest percentage of players who go to an event and lose every single game. I'm like, nope. We're gonna rewrite that. Anyway, so I'm very excited. Thank you so much, Jack. This model means a lot to me. And the other one is this chariot right here. So here's what I did. I've already painted one of these chariots. Okay, I have one of them has a tiger stripe, and the other one has kind of a midnight theme, kind of like almost like the Black Panther type animals that are in World of Warcraft. Or Warcraft 3, like from way back. That's kind of how I remember it. But like how the lions have like a kind of a dark purple glow around them. That's kind of what the other one was. Anywho, the two Griff Hounds from this set, I went to those two guys that I mentioned before, my good friends, Rob and Jeremy, and I asked them, please paint the Griff Hound itself. And the only rules that I gave them was it couldn't be white, just because I wanted it to pop off of all the Stormcast armor, and they're going to have white, armor on their back. Like, just don't make their skin any kind of ivory or something like that. And the directions that they went are completely different, and I'm here for every single second of it. Over here on the right, or if we're looking down like you are, right here on the left, we have Rob's, which is a death theme to match his Soulblight Gravelords, and that's super cool. Like it matches kind of the tones and stuff he used on his bases too, had a lot of the same coloring. And then, sorry about that, I had a quick hiccup. Over here on the left, or sorry, now it's on the right, was Jeremy's, and he went for hot pink. I'm pretty sure Miami Vice Griffhound, and I'm here for every second. And then I painted the chariot and everything before they got these back from them. Anyway, I'm stoked about it. I think it's awesome. It's a good, cool way to yeah, new friends. Move to a place and I found new friends kind of thing. And And also I shared the meme online that, like, looking at these guys, these are my two personalities, and I absolutely love it. Got broody, dark, emo, and self-destructive, and then, like, happy, bright Mr. Rogers. I don't know. I love it. So there's a lot of cool stuff going on. Beyond all of that, that's the big ones. Beck stuff for sure. So yeah, just leaning more into Soul War stuff and getting ready to do some death cleaning of the house, if you will. So give me one sec here. Let's bring the camera back up. And I'm going to go over here. In between sections, I just hang out and answer and respond to people in the chat. So if you want to say, hey, this is a good time to do it, then I'm going to talk about this game that I played. Was it just yesterday? Oh my God. I have no sense of time. No, it was Friday. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to pop the chat out so I can see it a little easier. Coming in loud and clear. Thank you so much, Willie. Sigmar's Champions joined us. See and hear you good. Thank you guys so much for doing the quick sound check for me. I do appreciate it. Let's see what y'all are working on. Stormcast. We got painting some skull crushers. Skull crushers. Which one are the skull crushers? Oh, these are the mount ones, right? I don't know. They all bleed together in my head. I really struggle with corn names. Let's see. Feculent Gnarlmaw. Nice. Those are super fun to paint. That's a kit that even though I have I don't think I'm going to do Magakin and Nurgle again after all. But after, like, it's like a model I still want to own. It's a really cool one. Slaves to Darkness for Path of Glory. That's awesome. I love it. Night Vault terrain. Night Vault. Oh, yeah. Yes, I do remember that stuff. Yep. Man, that's so cool. Let's see. Christopher, probably get asked a million times, are you planning to be at Adepticon? I actually can't this year. So I was planning on it. I had every intention to go, and I still want to go to Nova later in the year if I can do it. But the reason I can't go is a bittersweet thing where my wife, she actually went full-time as an author this last year. She's a romance author, and she went full-time, and it's her first big event. And I remember my first big event was Nova, and I was so nervous. I was a wreck leading up to it, and she was just perfect as a support and like giving me like a safe place to just kind of chill. That her first big thing is the same weekend, and so I was like, nope, we're going to yours. I want to do the same thing for you. So anyway, I'll miss out on it this year, but in the future I'll be sure to go. So yeah, I'm excited to be near it, for absolutely. It's just weird timing. Let's see. Did you see the Warcry boxes coming out? Yes, I did. We're going to talk about that. We're going to go to news right after I talk about my game that I played. But yeah. Poor Bone Splitters. Painting some Brutes and an Eldar. Cool. Skiing down the mountain, listening in. Tim, finishing the core box for Marvel Crisis Protocol. Okay, I guess this is technically hobby progress. We'll throw it in. I got another Green Goblin and Venom because my buddy Jeremy really has an interest in the game, and he's like one of the coolest people to play against. So I was like, heck yeah, I'll have fun. And I didn't realize that in the time that I had dipped out of the game, that Mysterio and Carnage had come out. And also I like Lizard. He was my favorite toy as I was a kid. I had like one of the classic Spider-Man cartoon ones. I don't know. But anyway, so I'm excited. I'm jumping back in. So let's see. on your ballista question, I tend to only I have taken 3, but prefer 2 in an ordinator. That makes... Yeah. Am I going to plug my wife's book? Well, she's written like over 75 of them. She's a prolific author. She's only been doing it for like 3 years, and she has 75 books. Damn. Anyway, she's incredible. Her... What do you call it? Title, where it's like you have an author name. Her author name is Cameron Hart, Hart. If you or your significant other reads romance books, go check it out. She's awesome. But no, she doesn't have like a singular book that she does, but yeah. Let's see. Removing a Stormcast Eternal from the base of a kill boss at the Oh, you're trying to get him out, like to cut him out. Interesting. What do you think would be a good upgrade after finishing the Dominion box for Stormcasts? That's a tough one. It kind of depends on what you want out of the game. Like, are you units like if you're having a tough matchup, Raptors are very, very good. One thing that I would suggest is either, if you like the new models, like the Dominion box, the Knight Relictor. Sorry, the Knight Lord thing is kind of twists me up sometimes. But basically what I'm saying is the Stormcasts have a fantastic prayer list that I think is really cool, but the Dominion box, to my memory, doesn't give you anything that allows you to even engage with that part of the battle tome. And it's an important one for prayers like translocation and that kind of stuff. So I would say probably start there, because at least then you can experience, you have a mage for the spell lore, you have heavy troops, light troops, you have all kinds of stuff, and you can kind of just experiment from there. Like I said, it depends on what you want out of the game to an extent as well. Okay. I think we are all caught up. So I'm going to talk real quick about this game that I had. There's a local awesome hero named Casey who... Okay. If anyone has any help with demons, go ahead and help out that guy. Thank you so much, buddy, for being a member, for chiming in. So we did a 1,000-point game. He brought Night Haunt. He had Lady Olander, a Knight of Shroud on steeds, I think 10 of the Blade Scythe Harridans, 2 units of Hex Rays. He was the Emerald Host. And then there were, I think they're called the Mirmorn Banshees, and a Spirit of Torment. Okay. That's all from like solid memory. I hope I probably butchered all the names of those units, but that's roughly what it was. And so to that fight, I brought a Knight Arcanum, a unit of Decimators, because I'm Knights Excelsior, their battle line, a 10-man unit of Vindictors, blah, blah, the new spear guys from Dominion, a unit of 10 of those, and 2 units of Castigators. So there's like 3 and 3 on each side of the board, and then the Chariot. And so we ended up playing what is the first mission in the GHB? I can't remember the name of it, but like there's 4 points on the battlefield at the end of starting at the end of turn 3, whoever has all the objectives, meaning the 3 remaining, wins the game. And so we ended up with that one. And I'm going to be honest, I appreciated having a mission to be able to like get us to move our armies, but I never like those missions where it's like at the end of the game or capture all the objectives and it only starts at a certain round, because it just creates a situation where everyone just kind of like holds back and then says go. But it makes for some boring opening turns. So some good moments were Hex Rays took out a unit of Castigators pretty handily. 2 of them. Hex Rays in the Emerald Host, they were better than I thought, to be honest. you know, you hear these stories about how terrible everything is online because everything on the internet gets magnified cartoonishly. But no, I mean, no, for being a basic cheap cavalry unit, I was like, huh, yeah, all right, they're there to die anyway. Dread-sized Harridans were cool. I like them. I want to like them more. And the whole time, you know, I mean, obviously he is playing the army knowing kind of the state that it's in. He does other Games Workshop games. He understands that it's just in a rough spot. He just really, you know, he saw the preview, was like, I'm excited about Nighthaunt stuff, and likes the models. And so it's like ideal hobbyist right there. And so, you know, we were just chatting through kind of things we'd like to see for the new book. I don't have any like solid ideas, but yeah, I don't know. Some more teeth. I think they need some teeth. I felt like there was a lot of 4s and 4s. It felt like. I mean, I don't know if it was like that exact profile, but I meant like he was rolling dice and just not a lot of things were happening from that. So yeah. Let's see. To have fun. That's such a broad word, my friend. If you want to like win games and that's how you decide fun, that's very different from someone who's like, I just want a cool model to paint. Let's see. Yeah, there was a news article I wanted to talk about, so we'll go do that next. Head over here to the shared screen. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to bring in the Infinity Arch. So here we are. It was really just this article, the Sunday preview. Let's go down here. Dominate the 8 points and Middle Earth. So I'm really only going to concern myself with the Warcry aspect of all this. But, yeah. Basically, it's talking about the new Toma Champions. It's going to go on pre-order this coming Saturday. So, like, Sunday starts the next week, that kind of thing. Let me pull the chat up so I can see. Okay, new Toma Champions for Warcry contains tons of new and updated content for whichever way you prefer to play their skirmish game set in the Mortal Realms. Whether you like open, narrative, match play, or campaign play, there's something here for you. Along with points updates for every Grand Alliance, there are new Fated quests, narrative campaigns, new branching quests, and a tournament pack to make organizing Warcry event easier than ever. So let's pause there. There's a lot in there. There's some big promises, and I think the Warcry books have generally delivered for their, you know, low, I won't say quality, but, you know, compared to the nice hardcover stuff, that kind of thing. Yeah, I feel like content-wise, I get what I pay for with these. Because I've bought all mine so far, and like never have I been like, no, wasn't worth it, you know. Some of the, I'm always honest that Games Workshop sends when they send me early stuff, and one of them was, you know, there's been like GHBs that have been like, meh, it's all right, it's points updates, whatever. But the Warcry books, I feel like, have been pretty good, I think, in general. Anyway, so lofty promises. We got open play, which I'm going to start leaning more into, I think. Narrative play, match play, and campaign play. Now I'm curious what their difference between narrative and campaign is. Because, like, you know, for a lot of Games Workshop projects, they kind of, like, merge the two. Like, functionally, Path to Glory, which is the campaign format, is the narrative section of 3rd edition. So I don't know. I'm just kind of curious as to how it's going to work. That's pretty cool. Along with points updates, that's cool. You know, I like that they're actively balancing it, because for a little while it seemed, I don't know, there were just some units that I just don't think translated right and need to be brought in. You know, like yet again in another GW game, Vanguard Raptors are too dang good. I love it. They are super nasty in this game if you have not tried them. There are new Fated quests. So Fated quests are really fun just because there's like little one-offs that anyone can do. Narrative campaigns. That's what I'm interested in. Like how they're telling you to form a story. Branching quests sound fun. I could be into that. And a tournament pack. And the tournament pack is interesting because I would absolutely do that. Like, this is a game that I feel fairly, like, I don't know, weirdly confident about. It's probably because it's like one of the easiest or on the more simple end of Games Workshop games. I'm sure this will change that in some capacity, just with points adjustments and that kind of stuff. If people want to go to an event and really clean house, they have to put, more mental thought into it than just picking up whatever. So yeah, I think that's interesting. I would absolutely run a Warcry event. Right on. This year's book also contains comprehensive rules for using Underworld's characters in Warcry, which I'm sure is going to be that's probably the narrative section now that I think about it. See, Mordian 5-7. I think narrative play refers to their normal one warband is on a quest type, while campaigns refer to stuff like Soroth core campaigns with a campaign manager and fixed time schedule. Oh, that's a good point. That's a very good point. I would love to see like kind of a more broadened version of the Soroth core stuff. Okay. Well said. Thank you for commenting that. Yeah, I did a video talking about this article when they announced that. I think it's a slam dunk. Absolutely. 10 out of 10, yes. Along with the Toma Champions, you'll be able to pre-order 5 new Warcry warbands, which is interesting. Each contains a varied section. Now, understand, for folks who say that Warcry doesn't get enough support, these are individual armies. You can't mix all the Stormcast together. They have like affixed icons and that kind of thing. And so I just think about like, what other game format have they just dropped? Like, here's 5 new factions, right? And some of them aren't brand new. I will admit, of course, we'll go through them, but I think it's a well-supported game in general. Obviously the book was meant to come out earlier. It says 2021. Oopsie poopsie. But the world's on fire. How about yours? So anyway, I think it's cool. More armies is basically how I got super excited and got to that point. More armies is good. I like it. We have the Thunder Strike, which just looks to be 5 Vindictors and a unit of Annihilators with hammers, which I don't know if I really want the Vindictors, to be perfectly honest with you. I tend to like Liberators or Sequitors. The new Vindictor models, they look cool, but I like all the other things in that new armor scheme more than just the basic guy. You know what I mean? Like the basic Vindictor. But I like all the heroes and the way that they look in it. I don't know. But anyway, so that's there. I don't know if I'll pick that up, to be honest with you, even with my Stormcast, because I'm not sure what else I need. Then we got the Daughters of Cain, which looks like a box of Witch Elves and a box of the snakes. Yeah, just one box, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, snake ladies. And of course, they have the bits to be built as Sisters of Slaughter, Witch Elves, and then the snakes have a melee and a ranged variant. Yeah. Definitely well supported for a side game. Even Underworlds only gets 1 or 2 at a time. Then there's stuff like... Yes, exactly. So anyway, yeah, I think that's a great box. My buddy Jeremy is getting into Daughters of Cain. I can see that as being like a time and or money saver for sure. And then you just use them as whatever. So yeah, I dig it. The Lumineth Realm Lord. So this one is interesting. So it's a unit of cowboys. Right, yeah, okay, I see 5 of those. Is it a 1, 2, 3, 4, Oh, okay, so is it like 1 sprue of archers and 1 sprue of warriors? So there's like 5 and 5 or something? Interesting. I couldn't remember how they were put on the sprue, so like in what quantities and that kind of thing, but yeah, it looks like 2 half units if I'm not mistaken. Someone can correct me. So yeah, so half unit of spears and bows. Okay, because I kept looking at it and I was like, there's no way there's 25 models in this box. No, there's 15. Okay, makes me feel a little better. Interesting. I mean, you know, my problem with this box, as the way I'm looking at it, is the same problem I have with the army, which is I don't want to deal with a literal 3-inch long spear, because even on like a skirmish level game, that thing is going to be whipping around. I don't know. I'm salty about the size of those spears. Okay, we'll move on. The Slaanesh Sybarites. This is a similar setup. Looks kind of like, well, it's a box of the warriors and a box of the Bliss Barb guys on foot. And that's cool. Honestly, this is the closest I might ever get to a Slaanesh collection. Like just playing strictly a Warcry warband. But that would be a fun painting project, I think. That's cool. I dig it. It's like, that's the thing, is what Warcry, like, I wanted it to be. It's just like, what's a way I can just dip my toe into another army? I don't need a book. I don't care about all that stuff. Just to, like, see what's up. And then we have Cruel Boys, which I am seeing. We got, is that 1, 2... Okay, so we got the big skewer guns. And a couple of the basic orcs. I don't see any of the snotlings or anything like that, whatever they're called. Right on. I mean, that's a great sampler. I mean, those are some of my perfect models. I mean, when it comes to like Slaanesh box, super fast as the first time Mortal cards in retail. Oh, interesting. I did not know that. Oh, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, because I'm thinking about the card pack, like the big wave they did. That would have been too early for them, I think, right? Interesting. Okay. Well, that's what we got. That's our news from Games Workshop. Is there magic in Warcry? Sort of. It functions like a normal ranged attack, and or there are abilities that only a wizard can use. That's about as close as it gets. I do wish there was something more for magic, but I don't know what it would be. But no, not particularly. Okay, well, you know, I'm gonna pause here and just kind of leave this on the screen. I'll give people a minute. This is kind of my open time to, you know, we can talk about anything you want if you have questions or whatever, or you want to discuss anything about the last section we covered with the news. I'm going to kind of get my paintings set up here, and that's what I'm going to be spending the rest of the time on. Let's see. I got right about 45 minutes to an hour, and I think we're gonna knock some sequiturs out of the park here. Okay. Like I said, I'll have hopefully that new setup ready by next week. Cool, okay. Are you still going to play some Vermintide 2? Yes, actually, I was on just the other day. I found some articles online because, like, you know, if I'm gonna devote time to something, I want to be fairly competent, so I'm not just constantly like, oops, sorrying my way on the stream. You know, I don't want to like be competitive good, but I at least want to be able to like hold my own. I don't bring the party down. Anyway, all that to say, I have been playing a little bit more and more, and I hopped on recently to like get all of the information about my items and kind of like understanding where they fit into the context of the game. It's been super interesting, and I'll get to streaming it here pretty soon. Do you think GW will do a Path to Glory standalone book with missions and quests? Probably. I mean, that seems to be their format when it comes to 40k and kind of like what they call their Crusade sections, which is basically their version of Path to Glory. So it wouldn't surprise me if they did. Or I think what also could happen, possibly, is that we get experimented on, because that's kind of how Games Workshop operates. They'll kind of like test something with AOS or 40k, and then if it's a good idea and it's successful, they bring it over to the other one, kind of a thing. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got some next iteration of whatever that's going to be. Whatever campaign and Path to Glory supplements look like. And maybe that's why we're waiting. That's a wishful thinking type deal, but it's also a thing that like happens, you know. Because I feel like, man, if all they wanted to do was print those super quick little books, you know, like they do for Crusade, we could have had it by now, but we haven't. So why? Cool, love those vids you did last year. Oh, thank you. They were fun. Campaign books, I will admit, are my absolute favorite thing in the hobby. They just are. When you can follow a story and inject drama into it, and in a story, and like it's a linear story, which is nice, because usually when I cover like Battletome lore, it's not linear. I'm just telling you about, you know, whatever faction I'm talking about is. This is just some generals, and of course, you know, if you have a cooler idea, go do your own thing. That's rad. But like, I'm not telling a story necessarily, and that's my fave. That is definitely Prime Doug. And actually, I kind of get that from, you know, like, if you ever listen to Dan Carlin, like Hardcore History, that kind of stuff, like I get a lot of my drive to do that from there, because I love that kind of storytelling format. Typically at this point, I would do a sort of like a main topic, just talking about pretty much anything in the wide world of wargaming. And you know, frankly, I didn't really have one today. I spent all morning running around doing errands. I unfortunately did not have an immense amount of time to kind of sit down and map out what I wanted. But, I don't know. Let's chat about something. LVO seems to have gone over pretty well. I've heard some great stories about that. I think I don't remember how Jack did. Like his exact score. I don't want to misspeak it, because I know I'll get it wrong and I'll feel like an ass. Be like, no, actually, I did twice as good as that, Doug. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm a friend. But he did well. He did well, and it was a huge field of competition, and seems to have had a pretty dang good time. So I am glad for it. I just played against a Lord Arcanum on Griffin Charger. They have some awesome rules. Oh yeah, they do. Yes, the Presto Change-O, Nobody Dies-O. And the I love their change to Griffhounds in the new book. Or not Griffhounds, Griffin Chargers rather. Where instead of like this, it used to be so dumb. You could move, but you couldn't charge afterwards. And it's like, well, I want to use them to like throttle up and get in people's faces. And they also had to like roll a fistful of dice, and whatever the number was the distance in inches they could move. It was so much work for nothing, Now they're just like, boom, teleport. Okay, cool, thank you. To the point where it's like, man, that rules rewrite actually makes what is she called? Knight Zephyros at least mildly interesting to me. Just to have a small hero who can go around and do, teleporting and charges and that kind of stuff. I'd love to see like that model hit the table. Lance got back into painting, made Orc Commandos. Sneaky. Nice. That's awesome. Sensei, are you going to do battle reports on the channel? Probably not full games of AOS, to be honest. I have done Warcry stuff, and I intend to get back into that. That's part of what this second camera purchase was for. But beyond that, I don't know. It's one of those things like I might do battle reports that are like condensed in like 15-minute, not like slideshows, but something more simple. I actually have an idea for like using icons on the screen as like the old, if you guys have seen the old school White Dwarf battle reports, doing that where you have like the little squares and icons for each regiment kind of like moving across a stable background. But it's all audio. Like, there's nothing to watch. It's not a battle report like other channels do. That was my idea that I was going to try this year. But it's not quite the same thing as the typical stuff. Oh, hey, Wargamer Willie. Awesome, dude. Give me 1 second. Let me just answer these quick questions, and then we're going to chat about your topic that you set for us. With the roadmap for the next 6 books in AOS announced, what's the one faction you think desperately needs a new book? Or the book you want more than anything? Book I want more than anything. Well, it wasn't confirmed because we don't know what the last 2, books were. But to me, Blades of Corn is one that I'm so excited to see because they need a good facelift. And if they get anything near about the level of love that Nurgle got, those players will be rewarded. So I would love to see Corn. What are you hoping for in our upcoming Skaven versus Lumineth box? Honestly, nothing. I guess a good story. That's about all I can hope for. And those little campaign, like the box, 2-player sets, those are so hit or miss when it comes to a compelling story. Because some of them, like Blight War, you're like, oh, okay, so, it's an ongoing struggle of, Nurgle in Guran, and it paints this really cool picture. And then other ones are like the what is it? The Carrion Flesh, where it was Night Haunt and not Night Haunt, Flesh Eater Courts and Skaven, and it was like, hey, these guys are fighting now. Like there was just like no story in there. You're just like, oh, okay. We decided to do away with all that pretense. I understand. Okay. Wargamer Willie, thank you so much for your your donation. And if you would like to kind of set the tone for the topic in a bit, anyone who tosses a coin to their YouTuber gets to. So, does Vandus count as a Lord Celestin for the rule to bring a single fulminator? Can any wizard cast an endless spell that you bring? Say with Arcane Tome. Okay, there's a few questions there. Let's hammer them out. Does Vandus count as a Lord Celestin for the rule to bring a single fulminator? Now I have the rulebook right in front of me, and I can give you the quick answer, but I want to share this for folks who... let's see if this comes up in the future, because there are a few kits now that they're doing like that, like they did for the Puscoils or whatever. Berg. Okay. So let's see. Fulminators. So the question is, does he count as a Lord Celestin on Dracoth? So if you see kind of how I broke that down to figure out what's legal and not, first thing you do is, okay, what is the rule that lets them bring a single thing? Single. You can include one of this type for each Lord Celestin on Dracoth you include in your army. This unit cannot have the battle line fuel. Okay. Now, typically, if you look at the rest of these, when you see that a word is bolded, okay, that is a indication that you're looking for a keyword. So if this were bolded, Lord Celestin on Dracoth, I would look at Vandus and I would go, yeah, he's a Lord Celestin Dracoth. But here's the thing, it's not bolded. And even though he has the Lord Celestin and Dracoth keywords, his name is not a Lord Celestin on Dracoth. It makes me think that that rule does not apply to him. It would have said a Lord Celestin Dracoth hero, or something like that, I believe. Lord Arcanum. Good lord, there are so many frickin' heroes. Knight Vexillor. I'm going the wrong way. Yeah. Did I pass him? Lord Celestin and Stardrake. Anyway, to answer your first question there, Willie, I would say no, he cannot. Yeah, Lord Celestin and Dracoth. That is my understanding. Let's see. Stormblast. And if I could be honest, I think that's specifically because they now sell an individual model of just him. So anyway, that would be my first thing there. So I don't believe so. Second question, can any wizard cast an endless spell that you bring? So my understanding is yes, when you pay for it, it becomes a spell that everyone has access to. Basically, it's like a spell lore. You don't assign it to a specific wizard in your army. It's just friendly wizards can cast. They know this spell in addition to any others, kind of a deal. And could they use the Arcane Tome? The Arcane Tome allows you to cast 2 spells, or add increase an additional spell or whatever. So yes, because now it's a spell you have access to. You have an opportunity to cast 2 spells and a spell that they know. As long as you can't do it twice, though. Like, you can't, try to cast Suffocating Gravetide because you're a hobby hero and then fail and then try to do it again. So, okay. Anyway. But yes. And honestly, it's not a bad call. If nothing else, it potentially increases the likelihood of you actually using the Endless spell if you have multiple wizards and multiple attempts. I think instead of troops or something like that, I think my next purchase for the Stormcast, it's going to be a while because I already have so much to paint. But I think the Endless spells are going to be that. I was afraid of that. Explained it very well. Oh. I'm looking to start a clan Crire army. What should I get first? With any Age of Sigmar stuff, I would say get to the smallest list possible. So what I mean by that is just get like a Warlock Engineer with a rocket launcher, because that's like your basic hero, sort of. Oh man, I didn't see this model, the snap fit thing. It looks like it got bent. Oh yeah, something happened to their leg. Weird. I'll put him up to the side. I might have to think about... Oh wait, it's a leader model? I can get rid of him. I have extras. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I would get a Warp Block Engineer with the rocket launcher first. And... let's see. They can do... their bread and butter is going to be... what are they called? What's the... Someone in the chat, can you please help me out? What's the... what are they called? Where they have like the baby rat on their back. I don't know why. I haven't thought about that unit in forever. Storm Fiends, right? Nope, that's not right. Whatever that unit is. Yeah, so I'm just gonna, I think, more importantly, Storm Fiends, thank you so much. The more important thing I want to hammer home is that, did you say it was your first army? No, you're looking to start one. Okay. So it's going to be an uphill battle. I personally think that the Skaven book needs a little bit of love. And anytime you take a specific clan, you do limit a lot of your options. So just, understand if you're struggling at first, you're in good company. There's many other Skaven players that are as well, but don't let it get to you. You'll get a new book and it'll be cool. You'll be fine. That's your daily affirmation with Doug. But yeah, so play what you love. Rules change, but understand that at the current moment, they're in a bit of a rough place. Oh, well, thank you so much, buddy. You don't need to do that, but I deeply appreciate it. Okay. Vince and Tom are convinced that the Skaven is the next Chaos book. Hope so. Andrew, do I get to choose the topic or tone? Why do we guilt each other about purchases? If the former, meaning the topic, I don't think I understand what you mean by tone or topic, but Andrew, do you mean you want to talk about the idea of people guilting each other over their purchases? Is that, there was some lost in digital translation, but that is going to be the topic if I don't hear back from you, because it's an interesting discussion on the nature of maturity. Yes. Okay. I don't know. That's the short of it. I guess I have never lived in a world, and I'm grateful for this, where someone belittled my interest or passions to the point where I needed to. It was almost a shameful thing. Like I guess I don't understand. I should actually backtrack that. I don't understand where the shame aspect comes from. I'm assuming it's because the other person thinks little of your interests. Like the other person could be a spouse, parent, someone meaningfully to you, so they taught you that you should be ashamed of it. But I don't actually know. As a newsflash, Doug doesn't know a thing. That's just most of what this channel is just me going, I don't know. But I assume that's what it is. There could be a myriad of reasons for it, so that's why I decided to kind of backtrack that a little bit, just because I don't know. I realized how much I don't know about motivations for people. Anyway. So part of it, I think, is a certain level of immaturity. And if you don't know what we're talking about, every time you go hop onto a group, a wargaming centric group on Twitter, there's like memes that get shared around of like, oh, my wife has no idea how much I spent on this, she's gonna kill me, ha, 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 ha. And then people like show their closets of shame, as they call them, and that kind of stuff. And I don't know, there's just this spirit of a guilty pleasure, and part of it is just there are just people who enjoy the feeling of having a guilty pleasure and love to lament, like jokingly, like, ha ha ha, oh man, I should have done something smarter, but I chose this. And they're looking, it's just people jabbing with each other. It doesn't mean anything. But Angie says, so like, okay, I'm all ears. This is that hero one that snapped open a smidge, but I just found the way to pop him back in. So I'm like, oh. Okay, right on. Here's the deal. Like, I'm 32. Been married for 10 years. Got married real young. If you need to hide something that you love from your spouse, there's a problem. And I say spouse. Forget the word spouse. I'm going to open that up to literally anybody. If there's something you need to hide, there's a disrespect or a disagreement about boundaries, personal interest in discovery, there's just something not right. And just investigate why. And it's uncomfortable, but lean into it. I don't know. And there's no like right or wrong way to spend your money. It's just, is it following your values? I'm not here to give you financial advice. What I mean is, if one of you has a thing, like, don't feel ashamed of that or hide it. You earned it. Spend it. Do whatever you want. I want to paint toy soldiers. Hell yeah. That kind of thing. Don't you work too hard for it to be ashamed of what you're doing. Provided There are some things to be ashamed of course, but provided it's about miniatures and we're keeping this topic. In the wisdom of Claude, the philosophical ogre, I do struggle with ambiguity. I prefer to keep stuff simple. Find someone who loves those are the parts of you, right? That's what makes you a person. So, that's my philosophizing, Andrew. You know, it's one of those things like I'm never gonna go in and like comment, you guys shouldn't joke about this, grow up, like, because if you haven't figured it out by now, arguing on the internet is the biggest waste of energy ever. So I don't do that, nor would I recommend it. But I just don't engage with it because it's just like, you know, it's a humor for a certain type of person, but I don't know. As long as it ain't hurting or degrading anybody, I don't really quite care. Feel like it really comes from the painters too. You know, I mean, I couldn't comment to that. I don't know. I see like memes and that kind of stuff in like Facebook groups, but I don't know those folks. Let's see. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, people let off steam and humor in different ways, and as long as it's not derogatory, which I've never heard it be, it's just, I've never heard anyone actually get mad of, you know, someone posts a picture of like a pile of models they bought, and someone else is like, that could have fed an entire African village, you know, or whatever. Like, first of all, dang. It's always just secondhand, like, oh man, my wife would kill me. Well, but I suppose it's all relative too, because you know, my wife, like I said earlier, she is a romance author. She comes into the room and she's just like, yeah, so I spent $150 on this graphic for riding his sleigh, you know, like some pun sex name for her book, that kind of thing. And I'm just like, cool, like, we just don't bat an eyelash. We're just so like, because we're internet people, like nothing affects us anymore. And it just becomes a bit entertaining. So normal and what you should be ashamed of, I suppose, is relative, is my point. What blue am I using? Yeah, I actually use the Thousand Sun colors for my Knights Excelsior because I like it. It has just a great pop of blue. And so this is, yeah, Thousand Suns blue, and then the highlight color that I do is Ahriman blue. There's a bit of shaming when someone builds a strong list or whatever, even if it's not that great. Really frustrating to hear. I'll hear it like gossip. You know, honestly, I'm so out of the loop when it comes to competitive stuff. When dragons were, everyone was complaining about them during LVO, I was like, oh, I thought everyone was pretty cool with the balance changes because I only remembered the points adjustments for the specific dragon units that they came out. So I was like super out of the loop. I don't know, man. I do understand people getting salty about, like, you know, the term net listing, I think is what I see the most, about like going online, taking something that's winning, copy paste, and then, you know, just taking like power gamer stuff. For that, you know, man, there's just nothing to it. You just gotta have the social skills to be like, hey, listen, we want different things out of this game, and I don't want to play against that. I have no problem. I have no qualms about saying that, but stay what you want and don't feel obligated to give 3 hours of your life to someone who, you know, they're not a bad person. They just enjoy winning. Nothing wrong with liking to win. But it's not, you know, if tactical stuff is not what you're there for, you can express that, is what I'm saying. Let's see. I'm throwing it out there. Evocators on Dracoline. Bonkers. 12-inch move. Free reroll charge. Mounts do D3 damage. With 3 models, you roll 9 dice for mortal wounds. He is 1,000 Suns. Anyway, so Willie, I'm excited to get some evocators on Dracolines. Very, very excited. You just sold me. I was gonna get what are they called? The Vanguard stuff, like the Paladors, because I do like their rules updates that they got. But I have been wanting to lean more into the Soul War stuff, so that's actually more up my alley. Oh man, I forgot this whole time I should have been painting the shields for all these guys. I just got so focused on the shoulder parts. Let's see. I used 1,000 Suns, but on the Circo. Oh, okay, yeah. It's I love it. I love the coverage of it. It just looks so pretty. Let's see. I've been using those colors for the cloth on my Carriage Overlords with a rusty ivory armor. Oh, that sounds so rad! That sounds cool. No Lord Relictors available here on our version of eBay. Don't want to get the Stormcast. Oh, yeah. I got mine through my buddy Jeremy here locally. He just happened to have one. I remember, like, man, this is like jogging memories. Sorry, I'm on a trip right now, apparently. Nostalgia one, at least. So I'm having memories to like when the first AOS set dropped, and like people were like super interested in like, holy crap, what are the Lord Relictors? What do they do? What's their temp? Like, I was just enthralled by that model with the big skull. I mean, I also like chaplains and that kind of stuff from 40k, of course, and they're, you know, basically similar in a lot of ways, but like, you know, then you look at the Knight Relictor when he came out. I was expecting kind of something similar, and he, you know, rightfully so, because he's a knight instead of a lord, looks more mild, but at the same time I was like, oh man, this is like the first Relictor model we've had in so long. I kind of wanted something else. So it took me a bit to get on board completely. Let's see. Viridian Forge. Yeah, I have if you go to the about me or contact section on the page, my email's there. You can shoot me an email. I would love to see them. Oh, Mr. Spider, thank you so much, buddy. What kind of clothes do AOS armies wear when they're not in a war? Like, what do Wrathmongers wear? Or do demons poop? They have butts. These are the questions that try men's souls. And so we're going to answer them. So let's knock this out real quick. What do the armies wear when they're not at war? Well, we know that Stormcasts have loincloths because that's actually a part of the introduction into, is it Plague Garden? When it's just like, I think it's Plague Garden. When Gardas is like doing sword practice and like they're basically doing the male gaze on him of like his thick, taut muscles flexed heavily. Like reading a Black Library book. My goodness. Too much like romance up in here. Anyway, so we have, like, we know what he's wearing. What else do we know? I don't know how many... I don't know what the average wardrobe of a free guild soldier is like. I don't know. They might burn through 12 or 14 COD pieces a week. I feel like the Daughters of Cain just wear the same. I feel like they are decidedly singular outfit people like Albert Einstein. It's just with murder bikinis. And the question is, do demons poop? Yes, actually, it is lore confirmed that demons poop. Because in the Realmgate Wars, there was a great unclean one that the good guys had to deal with once Alariel was back in power, whose, and I kid you not, this is Games Workshop writing, sole job was to sit in a giant river of life and take a periodic heaping dump, and it would pollute all the water going downstream. Specifically you asked about Wrathmongers. I would not be surprised if they were also, they kind of like set their own schedule and work at home. They're like the Mortal Realms entrepreneurs. I think they kind of always have to be ready to go out and murder people, so I don't think they change out of their war outfit very much. And boom. With that, Mr. Spider has allowed me to prove that whatever someone tips me for, I will probably address it seriously. Provided it's not gross or, like, not gross, but like obscene personal question or something like that, absolutely. GW likes their potty humor. Let's see. I'm picturing a lot of tracksuits. His name was literally Pooper, Grates, the unclean one that sat in the river. Oh my goodness. Okay, what is next? I need that to dry just a little bit. But while it's doing that, we can grab a dry brush and just do a quick dry brush on all these guys. Nurgle definitely poops. Okay. Yeah, I think they all would. I mean, well, I was running through my head. This is the things that Games Workshop has done to me. Becoming a full-time content creator has broken me. I was running through my head about minor demons all trying to poop, and I'm like, well, we know the plague bearers would because plague bearers, and we know like what would bloodletters poop like, and I was like, probably like rabbits. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say they poop like rabbits. And then my mind went to Zine stuff, just pooping fire, and then the Slanesh, I was like, oh, they'd be weird about it. I don't want to think about that. And that's kind of where my brain trailed off, and I was like, it's never mind. And then I decided to say it out loud anyway. Poor Deepkin. Why are we saying poor Deepkin? They're getting a new book, man. They're on top of the world. I have a question for the chat because someone actually asked me the other day, and I didn't know the answer. How old is the Daughters of Cain battle tome? I told someone that was one of the next ones coming out, and they were like, didn't they just get one? And they would just seem kind of incredulous. So I don't remember how recent that last one came out was. V History. Hey, just started getting into the hobby. Can't decide between Stormcasts or Soulblight Gravelords. Can you help me pick? Absolutely, V History. More than happy to. I have a few questions for you, and I need you to answer them so that I can kind of help you. Are you intimidated by painting lots of models? Because regardless of what you want out of the game, competitive-wise or playstyle-wise, those two armies are very different in terms of the number of models you'll be painting. I can tell you that Stormcast have a lot of support, a lot of paint tutorials out there. They make great learning models if you've never painted before. So I need to know that. But beyond that, you know, when do you ever play any, like, I don't know, board, miniature, or card games? Like, do you have a play style you like? Which I know is kind of an odd question if you're not really already in the hobby or a hobby, but yeah. I'll come back about a year ago. Thank you, guys. Okay, let's see. Here's the black. Okay. I love painting and wouldn't mind painting hordes. Okay. That helps. I mean, you know, it doesn't help us decide, but it certainly rules out, you know, whatever. I already purchased the Gravelord's Battle Tome, but the Stormcast models in my local shop are on big sales. Ooh, nice. You know, honestly, if you've already chosen a path and that doesn't intimidate you, you know, let me ask you this. What drew you to buying the Gravelord's box in the first place? Because, you know, whatever that interest was, I feel like, you know, we want to make sure there's no regrets. So I guess just kind of thinking about why you got the Gravelord stuff in the first place, or what you were hoping the Stormcast were going to do. Because I will say the Soulblight army, I feel, and people can correct me if I'm wrong, my understanding is it can get a little pricey because you will be buying multiple kits and that kind of stuff. But again, like I said, I don't own it. relative to a Stormcast army if it's on sale, where you need fewer models on the whole. Love the vampire models, Blood Knight specifically. My honest thing is that, you know, if you're really on the fence, I would say buy the Stormcast stuff and then just don't open it, because then you could just flip it online if it's on big enough sale, without, you know, at least without losing money. Even if you don't make anything, you can just pass on it later. You know, because again, if the sale is that screaming and you're worried about missing an opportunity, yeah, why not? But otherwise, I'd say, you know, honestly, Blood Knights, they eat up a lot of points relative to other stuff in the Death Army. So if you enjoy painting, and you're going to have a great time painting those, I can already tell you, because they're such cool models. I mean, why not just stick with what you got? You know, but again, I don't know you. I don't know the whole situation. You could be like me, and every 2 weeks you want a whole new army. And if you are, I'm sorry. We can commiserate. That's the thing, because I don't know like the real opportunity cost with the Stormcast. Because if it's like, you know, my least favorite army in the game, I think, is Slaanesh. If I walked into a game store and they had like a whole sale thing of like Slaanesh stuff on like 80% off, I'd be walking away with a Slaanesh army, right? Because it's, again, opportunity cost is like, yeah, I can see this, you know, at some point they will get a new book. And, you know, we'll all watch the fulcrum swing backwards to Slaanesh being incredible, and there'll be Doug with his riches. But conversely, I might like them, you know? And if in like 6 months I'm like, oh man, I kind of want to play Slaanesh or whatever. V history, I make it a point to not tell people how to spend their money. You know, the deal is good. It's not like quit one army and switch to another, like ecstatic good. You could probably, again, you know, just given those prices, especially with the Star Drake, that one you could probably buy and just, like I said, keep in your closet if you're not sure if you want to, and then dip your toe into later. That's what I would probably recommend. Master Shake. The Jaws of Mork list for Gloomspite looks the same in White Dwarf 255 and Broken Realms. Are both legal, or is one the legal one? So what? It would be whatever's newest, so that would be the Broken Realms one would be the legal one, I believe. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Rule of cool every time. Yeah, Mr. Spy, that's kind of what I was thinking. Like, you know, if you got the V history, if you got the Soul Blight because you like that army, you like that aesthetic, I would say lean into it. Because if you get the Stormcast just because they happen to be on sale at one point in time, you're going to get tired of them at some point. Because if it doesn't speak to you, when you do have those inevitable painting burnout moments, none of that's getting painted. Last thing here, and then I'm gonna start winding the chat down so I can go have a dinner with my lovely wife. Stormcast are always on sale. That's true. Oh, you mean it's called YouTube? You said, do you mean eBay? yeah, eBay is a great place. If you know, let's say like in not even a month, you're like, hey, you know what? Actually, I did want that Stormcast stuff. Pretty much any given time, you can go onto eBay and get everything else you'll need for a Stormcast army. Corey Bragg, hold the army and ask, does this bring me joy? Viridian Forge. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, my chat screen jumped up because people were responding to something else. I'm so sorry. Just sent those photos for the topic. What's the best way to learn how to play AOS? Sometimes it feels like a lot to just read through the rules. Viridian, that's a fantastic question. Let me show you my secret when I talk to people about getting into the hobby. Here, let me pull it up on the screen. Let's see. Give me just a moment. Apologies. Why can I not find the AOS rules? Guys, my mind is having a blank, and I apologize. I was on the road all day, and I feel like I've been made dumber by the sun. The website that I go to frequently to help me put my rules into order by phase, what is the name of it? I don't know why my brain is just blanking so hard right now. I'll wait here for you guys. I apologize. AOS reminders. Thank you guys so much. I kept typing in like AOS rules, AOS shorts, AOS. No, like I know it's here. Thank you. Okay. So, Viridian Forge. When it comes to learning AOS, the absolutely most basic thing that I start with is how to build a list. And I'm not going to go through how to do it here. We're just going to build a simple one because there's something else I want to show you. So always start with 1,000 points because it's just a good, nice, solid number. Let's throw Celestin and 2 units of Liberators, 3 units because we're going old school. Okay. I'm just picking random stuff. Weird. Lord Celestin shouldn't have a spell. Oh, wait. That's because I took the tome. That's right. I'm a dingus. Sorry, I'm a professional YouTuber. Okay. Blah. Okay. So. Sorry about that. So we made our 1,000 point list. That's where I would start. The next best thing that I would say is you go to this page here called AOS Reminders. And basically you can import the list that you build. So let's do that. Oh, I made it a subscriber only thing. Give me just 1 sec here. And what this does is you can see it imports all the information from here. And what this does is it creates a phase by phase setup. So you can literally use this as a checklist. this is a tool that was made to like take the mental burden off your brain. You can literally, when the round starts, walk through this entire thing. Boom, start of hero phase. And then it's just going to list off all of the relevant rules. I think I put stuff in here twice by accident. That's just me being a dingus. Ignore that. But it gives you all of those during the hero phase. Well, because we made a guy a wizard, now we can do a spell. And so you can use this as a step-by-step checklist for everything in your army, which is a pretty cool idea. And other than that, one of the cool things about Age of Sigmar in general is the fact that you can tweak the complexity of your game by what units you include. So like Liberators have very, very chill, easy to learn rules, whereas other units in the game, they get complicated. Like I would say, not complicated, but they just a lot of stuff to read, a lot of stuff to work through. Like I don't like how Nagash's War Scroll is a thesis statement. So playing smaller games and just having repetition with some of the same models, I think, is a great way to learn the game. It is a lot to read through the rules, but I think if you set, AOS reminders, or if you're someone who just learns better by writing stuff down, writing a checklist like hero phase, spells, command abilities, that kind of thing. So, or you can even write yourself pre-game notes on what to do. So like, for example, with my Stormcast, I know that turn 1 is dropping people from the sky and charging into the enemy to pin them in their deployment zone. That's it. I pick the biggest threat, and you can write that sentence. You're not cheating if you're like, hey, just a reminder, turn 1, this is all you're trying to do. And so the more stuff you write down, whether through to-do lists, through AOS reminders, or even just battle plan stuff that you think would set you up for success, write it down. You're not cheating. It's not, it's not hidden information. Your opponent's also trying to win. And if they're just struggling, they're just struggling, So anyway, friends, that's about time for me. Oh, wait here. Viridian Forge, was that of value to you at all? I want to make sure before I hop off that your question was helped. But I think it's a good tool. And there's just, there's just no way around it for some factions. Some factions just have a lot to read. I feel like the Fireslayer War Scrolls have a fair amount to read in some cases. Is that what I'm thinking of? No, I'm thinking the Carriage Overlords, with the ship and deployments and that kind of stuff. So, at a certain point, it's just a matter of repetition. But you can definitely, tailor stuff to be more simple. For example, like with my Nurgle, I really leaned hard into Puscoil Blightlords because, well, after I learned that one War Scroll really well, and you can like quiz yourself, once I learned that well, I knew most of the army. You knew 9/10 of it because that's all you needed to know. I also need to take time to understand more of the rules of the game. I'm fairly comfortable with my army's rules. Yeah, for sure. Like how objectives and stuff work. Yeah, I would say definitely looking up like battle reports. I'm gonna just someone hashtag rerolling one shill. Absolutely, I'm gonna promote those. There's a YouTube channel called Rerolling Ones. My buddies up in the Seattle area, they play games, and what I think is important that they do is that they actually say what's happening in the objective kind of category, like with the actual game rules. Because you'll get battle reports where they're like, yeah, I took this objective, I did this, I did that, and they kind of just say it. But there are one guys will like, hey, after counting the number of models, because this one is a monster, it counts as more, and so this guy took the objective. Like that kind of articulating what is happening, I think is very valuable. So I would go check those guys out. And just listening to people play games and that kind of stuff, I think would be helpful for you. So I'll be thinking about that one, because I might actually just write stuff down here tonight, and then the next time I stream next week, I will pop in and share that. So beyond that, I just wanted to say again, I started this stream at 3 o'clock p.m. Here on Sunday, and I'm going to be doing the same thing going forward, barring holidays and that kind of stuff. So 3 o'clock, I will see you on Sundays. I'm also going to be doing streams through the Legacy of Atmos Discord on Thursdays, I believe, starting this week. So if you want to hang out with me and paint some models there too, you're more than welcome to. All the information for Legacy of Atmos is down below, and I would love it if you would join me and support that project. But yeah, so I'll see you guys there. Hopefully I'll see you in the Discord for LOA, and I'll catch you next week. Happy Wargaming, friends. And then he forgot how to turn it off. There we go.